because I don't know. Sometimes the Kenan and Kel theme song just instantly pops into my
pops
head.
into your head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
is that
it's
right there?
just
Is
it's
that next on the
normal.
playlist after the day I beat Shaq? You
Yeah,
just you go right from
exactly. you know.
uh
So yeah. So hello everybody.
hello internet.
Welcome. Welcome to the Say Report. It's not the Say Report. Welcome to Say Report Junior. Junior. Oh my God.
DJ
Today,
Jernson wants to have a talk with you about this.
this is the Say Report Junior. I am one of your hosts, Dale Decker.
And I'm the other host, Zach Sarowick.
Listen, this has been a great night already. All right, we've
Oh
had some
man.
technical difficulties, so if I can't speak right, that is why. It is also probably because it is very warm
Oh, see,
here.
I'm sitting here in the thunderstorms and rain. It's nice over here.
We had thunderstorms this morning, um, so that was fun.
But it's Rhode Island, so then it got up to 80 degrees, and now it feels like you're living in a swamp.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's true. Yes, this is true. But yeah, so I feel like there's been stuff going. I kind of want to just get right into it since
we both seem to have done a bunch in a week. We
we
both seem to
really
have done a ton of
did.
stuff. So,
Yeah, we really did. Like, I'm impressed. I'm not really that just gave us really not a lot of credit. That was rude.
I'm impressed. Well, not really, because it's not like we saved anybody's lives. We didn't pull anyone out of a cave.
Yeah,
We didn't make
no,
a submarine nobody used.
no, of course
So,
not. Oh my God. So, but yeah, why don't we start with you?
okay. So, let's see. Whole bunch of stuff the last week. The big is let's start with the small stuff. I watched the original Purge film, not the
Yeah,
first Purge, the
yeah,
original Purge.
yeah. Confusing names are us.
Ethan Hawke, Lena Headey vehicle. That, which I was like surprised how much I liked it after like so many years of kind of hearing that, especially now with three sequels, that was kind of the weaker one. I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it start to finish. I had heard bits and pieces of the plot before, so I kind of knew what was gonna happen. But I really I don't know. I don't know why. I guess I don't know what I was expecting when I went into it, and so I was pleasantly surprised.
Which that is the best way to go into the Purge movies, I feel, because I was in that same boat when I first saw it. Because I was like, I don't like scary movies. This looks terrifying, but I'm gonna see it because I'm on. Because when that movie came out, I was on an Ethan Hawke kick, much like the rest of the world, because Ethan Hawke was in a movie. Um,
And we all remembered that Ethan Hawke existed for 5 minutes
Yeah,
again.
well,
Yeah.
because it was around that time, if I'm remembering correctly, it was around that time. I think Boyhood was in the talks or being made, or I don't remember
Boy,
the
yeah, we were
date.
right in
I don't
between.
remember the year exactly of Boyhood.
Yeah, we were right in
Um,
between the Before Sunrise
yep,
and Boyhood kind of thing. So like he was back on his Linkletter.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and to get ready for Before Sunrise, Devin had shown me the other two Before movies, and I was like, these movies are beautiful, and it got me on
Oh,
it
I was
got
like
me on
waiting.
that Ethan Hawke trip.
I was really waiting to be like, oh, it starts with the B. What's the B word gonna be? Is it gonna be boring or brilliant or beautiful?
Oh wow, I didn't even notice
Could have gone
that.
could have gone anyway. On the edge
That's
of my
very
seat.
true. But yeah, no, I totally get those feelings, and just like you, loved it. So much fun.
Yeah, and I was like surprised at how much they really just like like it was nail on the head, like just in your face about like, oh, this is a family with like super white privilege and they're super rich. And yes, it's a black guy that they let into the house. And that's like a big thing that it's a black homeless guy. And he's like the only black character in the movie. And then it's like these prep school white kids that come in and are like torturing them and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I can actually see exactly why this didn't work in 2013
Hmm.
because it's a year after Obama is reelected and not 4 years later when like this shit is like at the top of everything. I
Yeah.
think that was the other part to it. Is like you rewatch that movie now or watch it for the first time and it's like a completely different atmosphere around it. I
Oh
think when that I think when it first came out, people looked at it and went, "Oh, that's an exaggerated, stupid bullshit story. That'll never happen." And now it's like, "Oh, that's tomorrow."
yeah.
And
Unfortunately, I mean,
yeah, and
and
now I'm even more scared.
yeah, like, that's the thing. That's the scary thing about the Purge movies. I mean, so you've only watched the first one, the original
I have
one?
only watched the first one.
Okay. It's scary how it escalates and how quickly it escalates. And it just, cuz I don't know. I first watched Purge and The Purge, and I did not see any sequels coming out of it. I hoped there would be sequels cuz I loved the world that they built, and it like instantly grabbed me, but I didn't even have that mindset of, oh my god, like, this is terrible, like, this is a terrible situation. And like, my mind didn't go there for, I don't know, probably that's probably not great that my mind didn't go there, but it didn't,
Well,
because I
again, I
was
mean,
just like,
and depending on when you watched it, like, and I really think it is
exactly.
depending on what year. In the last 4 years, if you watched it in the first two of those years,
Mhm.
it's very different than the last 2 years to watch that movie, I think.
Exactly, yeah. So I think, yeah, and it's like I said, it's scary how the escalation occurs in these next ones. And then the first Purge, the newest one that just came out, I'm gonna call it Purge Island.
Okay,
for
just so we
for
stop
because
confusing them.
that's what it was gonna be called. But for sake of being, whatever, Purge Island, the newest one, it's even crazier because it is a prequel. Like, it's about the first time that they did the Purge, and it's just like, oh man, like, I didn't even know any of this when I was watching Purge, and it's fucking scary.
Yeah, and I mean, it's perfect because I mean, the four movies are basically four different stories, right? Like, there's no characters crossing over from one to the next, is there?
No.
That we
So
kind of know about? No. So
Anarchy, no. So Anarchy and Election Year, which is the second and third film,
right,
do have crossover.
they do.
Yep. So
Okay,
the stranger, quote unquote, the stranger, the man who is getting hunted
right,
in the first movie,
right.
he shows up. I don't remember his name in the. I don't remember anybody's names in these movies. I
Well,
just
that's because
remember
I
them
mean,
as characters.
and that's not a problem. Like, they're
Yeah.
structured that way
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
most of them don't have names. It's the family and the
Yep.
boyfriend are the only ones with names really in the
Yeah.
first movie.
Yeah. He is referred to as the stranger.
Right.
So there you go. But he shows up in the second movie and the third movie. I don't know if you want me to like tell you, because you seem like you're going to be going into.
I will eventually watch them. Yeah. So nothing super spoilery. I was just curious because like
Okay, yeah, he
this
shows
the
up.
franchise seems built for
Yeah.
like kind of separate story
Mhm.
escalation stuff.
Mhm.
Like, they don't need to seem to have those crossover characters
Yeah,
as much.
it's
Yeah.
really cool when you realize it's him in the second movie, and then even more so in the third movie, and then you have what's his name, Frank Grillo, who shows up in both of. It's really weird that the two middle children of the
Hmm.
Purge series are the ones that cross over, and it's like
Okay.
it seems like they wanted to put all this stuff in to one movie, and they were like, no, we're gonna make it two because we
I
need to, because we
yeah.
need
I
to
bet you.
flush out this world because it's
Yeah.
amazing.
I think it blew up. I think it blew up in a way they weren't expecting. Like,
Yeah.
even with whatever, quote unquote poor reception the first one got, obviously it got them enough attention to make sequels. And by all accounts, like, Anarchy just ramps everything
Mhm.
up
Yeah.
from what you hear. And so, like, I'm not surprised that they just went, "Oh my God, we have a thing on our hands we weren't expecting to have."
Yeah. And
And yeah.
and again, like, me, from minute one, right? We were watching Devin and I were watching those movies, right? And the second movie I was excited about because I'm like, cool. First movie we got to see what happens inside of a home. Second movie, you've seen the trailers probably.
Yes.
It's, oh, now we're getting to see more of the world. I'm like, cool. I'm good. I'm good with these two movies being this. And then I hear that there's a third one coming out, and I'm like, oh my God. I never, never, never expected this to be made like this. It continued. It's getting a 10 episode like mini
TV
series
show.
on
Yeah.
USA. Like, and the reason why I never really thought it is like it brings up some shit that could. I don't think it. People say that the purge is going to happen in real world. I I don't think it will.
I don't think it will.
But
It's the fact that it could.
So the fact that it could is scary enough, but
Right.
and the similarities to the real world are very terrifying.
They really leaned into
Um,
the like we're just one bad decision
yeah,
away kind of thing.
exactly. But yeah.
No, and that's great. I mean, like, and especially like, yeah, you're right. Where it starts off in the home and then expands into like what actually happens out in the streets, and then election year, like how the government deals with it and how
Mhm.
people actually running the purge deal with it,
Yeah.
and then to go back to the first purge and be like, now that you'd have all of that background of what happens during the purge, here's what it looked like when it started,
Mhm.
which was also horrific.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I can't wait for you to see the first Purge,
mm,
like or Purge Island. I
or
just
Purge
broke my
Island.
own rule.
You did.
I did, but I can't wait for you to see it now. Like, I don't watch any trailers. Do not watch it.
No.
Go in
No,
blind, Zach.
I saw one whenever their original teaser trailer come out. I'm at a point in my life now where I don't watch anything past a teaser trailer.
Oh, good. Okay.
Like I know
Good.
most of the time when I want to see a movie anyway, so I'll watch a teaser trailer just to kind of ramp up that little bit of excitement. But like I don't need to see anything more than that.
Good.
I don't need to see more than two. I don't need to see another trailer for Winnie the Pooh for Christopher Robin. I'm gonna go see that and bawl my eyes out. I don't need to know
Right?
more.
Oh my god! I cried during the trailer.
Oh
Are
my
you
god,
kidding
I
me?
did too. Oh.
Well, that being said, I cry a lot at things. Like I think I mentioned this. I heard the theme music for How to Train Your Dragon and
Uh-huh.
knew that there was a How to Train Your Dragon 3 coming out and instantly started crying in the theater. Could not control it. It was just I was so happy.
I
that
still
it was
distinctly
coming
remember
out.
it. I still distinctly remember it, and this is perfect because this will get me onto the next thing I did this weekend.
Good.
I still distinctly remember when I watched Jurassic World, the not I was about to say the original, whatever, the fourth one in the series, the last one, the
We
first
know
one with
what
Chris Pratt.
Jurassic World is.
Well, because I feel like
Because the
I've
second
at this
movie's
point,
called Jurassic World. It's very confusing.
yeah, I was like the thing is that like I think at this point, even now, I still shorten Fallen Kingdom down to just Jurassic World again, like because nobody cared enough.
Yeah,
Like, at
it's
least Lost World had the decency to put the subtitle first and then call it Jurassic Park.
yeah.
Anyway, so I distinctly remember when I first saw Jurassic World in theaters, as much as like the movie was. Because at that point, a lot of the stuff that annoyed me about that movie had not happened yet. And so, like, that first shot where they get to the park and it just goes over the park and they play the theme song, I choked up a little bit.
Yep.
I'm not even a huge Jurassic Park fan, but like that nostalgia can hit you like nothing.
Oh yeah.
When the new Muppet movie came out and they sang Rainbow Connection, I cried like a baby in the
Aw.
theater when that happened.
Yeah,
It's like
it's things can just set it off, and yeah, I did
Yeah.
not expect it.
yeah. So that being said, I also saw Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom this weekend.
Yay,
Uh,
but not
in a
yay, because
in a
you seem
grand
upset.
I'm back and forth on it. In a grand adventure to El Paso. I don't know if I think I talked about this a little bit last time when I talked about trying to get home from the Mr. Rogers documentary, how it took me like an extra hour because of all the construction.
Yep.
It got me again.
Oh
Oh my God, I was trying to come home and I got filtered onto the wrong direction on I-10. So I'm going east instead of west, and I'm like, oh, that's fine. I'll just get off at the next exit and come around. I get off the exit, and the west entrance is blocked on me. And I had to go back, basically go all the way back to the movie theater and try again. It was,
So it's like a video game.
I might still be trapped in El Paso
Oh
for all
my
I know. I might be living a dream. Like,
This is a own personal Twilight Zone
but
episode.
this is exactly why I saw two movies that day, because I was like, I know I'm going to spend more time driving than seeing movies. I should at least get two movies out of this.
Smart.
So saw Jurassic World. Before that, though, saw Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Woo!
Excellent, right on the same level as Ant-Man.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that perfect like palate cleanser of like, here's all of the heavy stuff going on around you, and then here's Ant-Man, which seems like a seemingly side movie to everything else going on.
Yep.
And is just a nice little fun adventure film.
Oh yeah,
Perfect.
I loved every second of it. My mom loved every second of it. Like that's good. When a superhero like film gets her into it, that's good. You're a good movie.
Yeah, that's the
which-
Ant-Man films, I think, really personify that idea of like Marvel's whole kind of ethos of these are human beings dealing
Yeah.
with these problems.
Yeah.
And I think that Paul Rudd is like a perfect casting to
Oh,
have as Ant-Man and be
of
like Scott
course.
Lang is just like if anybody is going to personify like the everyman in the whole Avengers MCU stuff, I think that Scott Lang is
Mm,
like the guy,
hmm.
and Paul Rudd was like the perfect person to put
Yeah,
into that.
I agree.
So
Yeah, totally. Um it was just so good. I am a little upset with the credits, the mid
I knew it was going
credits
to
scene.
happen.
I Okay, but here's the thing. Everybody knew it was going to happen. Everybody.
Hmm.
Okay? If you didn't see it coming or you didn't know it was going to happen, good for you because you got to feel something in that moment. And other people did too. Like I felt nothing
Yeah, I was
except
like, oh,
for
okay, so
disappointment.
everything. It wasn't even
It,
disappointment. It was just kind
like
of like, oh, okay, so exactly what every comic book nerd that came out of Infinity War told everyone was going to happen happened.
exactly. So it starts, right? And it's getting to a point where I'm like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen now. It's gonna happen soon. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So I like grabbed Devin's hand and was like, I need you because I know like these movies are pretty good. Even the Ant-Man movies are pretty good at like pulling the heartstrings and pulling the emotion out
Right.
of it. So I'm like, it's gonna be so painful to watch. Like I can't do this, which is crazy. It's a movie. Calm down, Kyle. But I just I love Paul Rudd and I love Ant Man. So it the connection was there. So I like grabbed Evan's hand and I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm like, oh god, he's going in. Oh god, oh no. Okay, so and then it just happens and I'm like,
And they don't show it happen. I think that was the thing.
yeah,
Here's my
like,
feeling on it. I don't know if I would have been I don't know if I would have felt better having that scene be more dramatic and do pull at the heartstrings and see that happen
mm.
because the movie like very specifically this movie came out after Infinity War. Like they
Oh
very
yeah,
much knew
they
they
planned
were
it.
going to need people to have like a come down from that.
Mm.
And so I feel like to have that kind of like feel good come down movie and then to end it on another just like another scene to remind you of the last half hour of
Well,
Infinity
that's
War
great.
probably would have been like a little much. Like I could see a lot of people being like, "Man, I was really loving it until that really bummer ending
Yeah,
that did came out of nowhere." Like
yeah. I mean, it
so
worked. Like it does work. I wish, and I
just
feel
wish you
like
felt that.
I feel
I
like
get
a
that.
jerk saying this, but it shouldn't have been those three. Like it shouldn't have been. By the way, we didn't say it. Spoilers. We've
Oh,
already
yeah.
spoiled the fucking movie. But
Well,
anyways,
we
it
already talked about the fact that we already know the end credits. Everybody already
exactly,
knows that end
exactly.
credits scene.
But it should. I feel bad saying should have, but they're fictional characters, so I can. But it should have been Scott and Hank. Those are the people who fade.
Right, right, right.
That's who
Yes,
in that moment.
that is very true.
Those are the
Yes.
people who fade. I'm sorry, but it's such a better impact in
Well,
the
especially because
world.
that movie is so good. Like the whole Ant-Man and the Wasp is so good at like reminding you, by the way, the Wasp is so much better than Ant-Man because
Mm,
she's so much more well trained. And then to
yeah.
just take her away again at the end of the
Exactly.
movie.
Also,
Yeah.
I realized this. My mom asked. They were like, I think it was my mom who asked. She was like, "Do they ever call her the Wasp?" And
Oh, of
no,
course not.
no, they
No.
don't. It's
True
just you
true
just need to
origin
know.
film in true origin film fashion, they just never say the name.
Hmm. It just
Uh
adds to the slew of confusing titles of
yeah.
movies of late. But anyways,
Uh
you were
so
gonna talk about Jurassic World.
yeah, so that was Ant-Man. Very good. Last thing actually I want to say on Ant-Man is I think the one scene that like completely explains the entire like relationship between those two is when that during the car chase when she does the SUV fight, which is so brilliantly choreographed, and then they cut to Scott and he just kicks a truck
Yep.
because he's gigantic.
Exactly.
Oh man.
I I have one more thing on that too. Sorry. The scene where Scott becomes oh what oh, I can't
Like
think of her name.
toddler sized?
No, no,
Is
no,
that
no,
the
no, no. No,
okay?
that was really creepy. And fantastic. No, he becomes Hope's mom. Oh,
Oh yes. Michelle Pfeiffer?
yeah. I can't
Yeah.
why can't I think of her name? It's something with an L. Oh my god. Lisa? Nope. Lindsay? Oh,
Are you talking about the part where he is possessed by her, or the part where
yes.
yeah, okay, yes.
Yes. he become like she physically becomes Scott Lang in like this weird way, and it's
And
just brilliant. It's so good.
it's brilliantly acted. I could not believe
Yes.
Paul Rudd pulled that off because it
Because
is
he's
not over the
great.
top. It would have been
Yeah,
so
no.
easy. It would have been so easy for them to do the like oh my God, I'm a man now scene. And they didn't do that. She comes in just like, okay, this was the plan.
Yeah.
I stuck my consciousness in Scott, and so now I'm Scott, and
Hmm.
Scott is just there he
Oh yeah,
is.
it was like I need to get down to business. I do not have the time
Yeah.
to freak out that I now have a penis.
Yeah.
Like
That's oh man, it's so well written. It's
yeah. It was and I oh,
uh
I think that was my favorite scene of the movie, I got to be
it,
honest. But
very good scene.
yeah.
Um okay, so then to go from that well written masterpiece
Ah,
to Fallen Kingdom. Uh
oh.
Uh,
I mean,
I don't know. I still
yeah.
don't know how I feel. I still don't know how I feel about Fallen Kingdom. So one of the things I did after I watched Fallen Kingdom is over the last week or so I've rewatched also Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 because it had been a while since I'd watched any Jurassic Park film whatsoever, and I had some thoughts and I wanted to compare them all. So um, Jurassic World, very much a remake of Jurassic Park. Very like in the same way that Force Awakens is like a remake of New Hope.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the same kind of beats, same kind of basic concept. And Fallen Kingdom, almost like a remake of Lost World. Only what they do is that in Lost World, they spend 2/3 of the movie on the island, and then the last like half hour of it is the T-Rex in San Diego. And then in Fallen Kingdom, it's 20 minutes on the island and then the rest of it at the house afterwards.
Yeah.
Like they kind of flipped it that way, but still very much on the same kind of idea of, oh, we just want to get these things off the island and sell them, which is like the same basic plot to Lost World, which is we want to get them off the island and reopen Jurassic Park in San Diego because we think that will go better. Like,
So I'm trying to remember because I've only seen two of the original Jurassic Park films. Is Lost World where Jeff Goldblum's character has the daughter?
yes, where he randomly has a daughter who
Yeah,
would have been
okay.
alive during the events of Jurassic Park and who is never mentioned in
Okay.
Jurassic Park.
So that's
Yep.
those are the so I've seen Jurassic Park and I've seen that one. I've seen Lost World. I haven't.
Okay.
Is Lost World the third one or is that the
No,
second one?
Lost World is the second. And they also like got Michael Crichton to write a novel to tie into it, even though it's completely changed from however the book originally ends that Michael
Okay.
Crichton wrote. Yeah,
All right.
it's crazy.
Cool. So
But not actually, and I've seen that one probably more than any other because it used to play on like USA and Sci-Fi all the time. Like every Sunday
it
afternoon,
makes
Lost World
sense
would be on
somehow.
for whatever reason. I was thinking about that. It's because Jurassic Park is a classic and Lost World is not. Like Jurassic Park is such a classic film that if you're going to put Jurassic Park on, you're going to make an event out of it.
Oh yeah.
But Lost World, nobody cares. We can put that thing on any time of day and every day and get it for cheap and throw it on, and nobody's going to give a crap. So we can just fill time with it. So like, because I feel like the same way about like Jaws. Like I feel like you're not going to put Jaws on a regular basis, but I bet you Jaws 3D or Jaws: The Revenge has been on TV more often than Jaws.
Yeah.
Like,
Jaws the Revenge, definitely. I love Jaws the Revenge. I don't want to get sidetracked though.
So back to Fallen Kingdom itself. I don't know how I feel about it. I just don't. Like there was like only a handful of scenes I remember going, yeah, I really like that,
Yeah.
and the rest of it just kind of happened. And there was not much that upset me the way that Jurassic World did.
Mm.
Like there were scenes in Jurassic World that made me mad, and most of them were between Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt because their entire relationship is so forced
She's
that every
I feel bad.
she's
She's
fine.
awful. Like I don't like, and I don't know if it's Bryce Dallas Howard or if I don't like the character of Claire.
I think it's the character because the
Like-
character doesn't seem to do much.
Oh, she's just so ugh. I don't know, annoying. Like I feel she's annoying. She annoys me.
That's fine. That's fine because I mean, like, I'm still like struggling to figure out like her purpose was to get Chris Pratt on that island, right? Like I
Yeah.
kind of remember exactly what other purpose she had in
Oh
that
yeah,
movie.
no,
Like,
definitely. And to try and save the dinosaurs.
well, again, quote unquote, try and
Try
save the
and save the
dinosaurs.
di-
What they
exactly.
were doing was we need you to get Chris Pratt on the island because Chris Pratt knows how to save the dinosaurs.
Yeah, she was
And also
basically a
you're-
pawn.
Yeah, and also your Wonder Twins that don't have a background story. Oh God,
Hey,
those two.
hey,
Franklin and Zia. I'm sorry, there
I
was no
love them.
purpose to those characters.
Okay, I will agree to you that there was no purpose other than to have these
Other characters in the
secondary
movie.
other
Yeah.
characters who can be the fallback, whatever. But I really loved them, and I I don't care that I really loved them because I
Oh, that's
did,
fine.
and
I liked a lot of the scenes with them, and I liked what they were doing. I just felt like, here it is. Here's what it is. It feels like there's 20 minutes missing from the beginning of this movie. It feels like they
yeah.
went, here's the setup, and so that in 15 minutes you've introduced all what your two new characters, you've reintroduced your main characters from the last movie, and now here they are going to the island, and it's like they didn't take enough time to really set up. I mean, again, like it
Franklin
was
and
the
Zia, and
relationship is
yeah.
forced. Like the relationship between Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt is forced,
Oh,
and so it's
always.
just like, oh, by the way, like every other movie, they broke it up in between this, and now they're mad at each other.
Hmm.
You don't need to know anything else. There they are, and he does takes no effort whatsoever to get him back onto to go back onto the island, and then
Yeah.
it's like here's these two characters who you get like one line that explains who they are, and then they're just there to go to this island.
Yeah, it's very simple screenwriting.
Yeah. And then
Um,
that whole the whole sequence on the island, like as kind of cool as it is, it also feels like it was the end of a bigger like it felt like that was the end of the movie at the beginning. Like that whole sequence to me felt like they were like, here's a bunch of payoff to a bunch of things that never happened, like the fact that Franklin keeps talking about the T-Rex. And
yeah.
here, oh, I'm so worried about the T-Rex. That's like, well, we already saw the T-Rex at like literally in the first scene of the movie. So this him running around saying that doesn't it's not going to be
Doesn't
like a
make sense.
huge reveal that the T-Rex is back.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I during it I felt I don't know. I liked it cuz I like dinosaurs and I really liked Franklin and Zia and I thought it was kind of like the Rose thing. I wish there was more with them, but I still loved them as
right.
characters. Um but yeah, I like afterwards again, I did not know how to feel. I was like that was a movie. It entertained me. There was some stuff that was stupid. Um but it exists and I might watch it again.
It was
Like
like it was like a movie that seemed like it was perfectly made to be played on a Sunday afternoon
yeah.
on USA.
Yeah,
Like that's
just
all it
as
was.
background noise.
Right.
It's also which I didn't get to. I was gonna tell you I didn't get to watch sit down and watch Last Jedi again.
That's okay.
But I want to because again you did make a valid point when discussing that. But it brings up that at least for me where it's like there are a lot of scenes in Fallen Kingdom that just like in Last Jedi, where if I could just watch those scenes, I would be fine with it. Um, but then again, it's like, then what's the point?
Right.
You know, like the it's really the ending portion of it when they are in the home in the house. Like there's scenes in that are so cool.
Yeah, I like that
That
concept. Like I like that idea
yeah.
and that concept, and it just felt like they threw together this what was essentially like a very truncated version of Lost World at the
Mm,
beginning to get you back to the house.
yeah.
Like that was what they did. When I feel like there was probably some way they could. I don't know. Maybe it's because they wanted the big set piece, but they probably could have figured out a way to get everybody to the house without ever having the island sequence at the beginning, and then you have more time to introduce your
The
characters or something.
yeah, that's
Like
true.
let's get like because yes, everything that happens at the house is like that stuff I thought was interesting and you could get more out of. Like
Mm.
I really liked that concept at least, if not everything that happens.
And
But
I
owned girl,
like
but
all like all the stuff with Blue, I loved.
right,
All of that
yeah,
was so good. Like I like that that's the reason why Chris Pratt really goes back is that it is because it's Blue. Like it means something cuz yeah, he did raise her. Like so he is going to have that connection and is going to want to he's a good dude. Like he
yeah.
knows that you know, it's his little baby and he doesn't want her to die, but you know that also that scene was painful. Like I cried during that when with
Which one
the
when
when
Blue leaves or the surgery
the no
or
when all the dinosaurs are dying. Like when he
oh
know like and they're watching the Brachiosaurus just
Oh
blow up.
God, yes.
Like that was painful.
Yeah, again, great set piece.
Great set
Great
piece,
great
but
set
a
piece. Like I
very strange way to get there. Yeah, I get. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
but the best part of that, I would watch all of the blue scenes again. And the scene at the end where the scary dinosaur, the new crazy freaky thing,
Yeah.
is like, I'm a super smart scary being and I'm gonna eat this guy who's in
That was
front of
great.
me. It's
That was
so
great when he
good. When it like faked being knocked out.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
So about that dinosaur, because now now I'm gonna get into this. So BD Wong, the
Yes. Yep.
doctor that
Mhm.
creates it. So why is my question? Why did you do that? So here's the
Money?
thing,
I don't know.
because he's in original Jurassic Park. He's the doctor that John Hammond's lead scientist that creates the things.
Mhm.
Great. Obviously, going too far, like that's the whole point of Jurassic Park. Obviously,
Exactly.
taking science too far, but doing it because he likes science and because he thinks it would be cool to bring dinosaurs back. Then he comes back in Jurassic World and he is fighting with the guy that owns the park about the fact that they are going too far and that they have made him create the Indominus Rex because they wanted a bigger, cooler dinosaur. And that's one of the scenes I love from okay, I almost said the original again, from Jurassic World. I'm just
Yes.
gonna say Jurassic World for the first one and Fallen Kingdom for the second.
Good.
Um,
Perfect.
what
I'm
I think
down.
is one of the best scenes in Jurassic World is when BD Wong and the guy that owned the park are fighting about that because it's like one of the purest like real science fiction-y kind of conversations they have
Yep.
where it's like you just want bigger scarier dinosaurs to sell things. I even screwed these things up so genetically they don't have the feathers they're supposed to have. Like he even managed to get in real science about dinosaurs into
Yep.
that scene. And then in this movie, it's just, oh no, I decided I want money, and I made a bigger, badder dinosaur for no reason.
Yep.
That's why?
I decided I'm going to weaponize these things.
Yeah.
Like
Like
that's
in
what
what
the
universe is your character do that?
that's the craziest thing about Fallen Kingdom is that they were practically arms dealers with
Yeah.
dinosaurs.
Oh man. And then
I'm
so that
sorry.
so here's the other thing that took me out of the movie, and this is not the this is I'm going to partially blame the movie, but this is as much my fault as the movies. So the guy that is selling the dinosaurs, the
Mhm.
guy with the the he's not, I think he's actually British, but he doesn't have a British accent in the movie. Eli Mills, the guy that's
Yes.
the bad guy.
Yeah.
I spent the whole movie thinking that he was Tim from Jurassic Park, the original kid from the original movie,
Oh.
because he looks exactly like I would have imagined Tim to grow up looking.
Hmm.
And because I did not remember his name, I just went like immediately just went, oh, it's the kid from the first movie. And that was just in my mind the whole thing, just assuming. So as he's becoming more and more of a bad guy in the movie, my mind is exploding in my head
Oh no.
because I'm like, how did that kid get here? How did I not hear? How does The Last Jedi get a freaking remake campaign and no one's talking about the fact that the kid from Jurassic Park is now a dinosaur arms dealer? How did I get 3 weeks into this movie being released and never hear this
man.
thing? And then I'm like,
So
and so
disappointing.
they're doing this whole stupid storyline about the girl's mother, and like in my head I'm like, oh, it's his niece, it's the sister from Jurassic Park, that's going to be the mother, or even Laura Dern. For some reason it's going to turn out that James Cromwell, who's never been in any of these movies, is is going to turn out to be Laura Dern's father or something that we just didn't know that was his name or something like that. Or like I was waiting, and then they reveal the picture and it's just a picture of the little girl because she's a, spoiler alert, she's a clone. But here's the thing, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Movies constantly use children to like as pictures of their parents as kids. So like if you take a picture and you go, "Oh, this is this girl's mother as a child," and you just use the kid actor as also the parent actor in that photo, like that reveal meant nothing to me.
Yep.
Because it was like a picture of the same girl and the woman looked younger, and I went, I don't know what that means. Because you already said she looks just like her mother. So why in my brain am I going to go, oh my God, she's a clone? No, I'm going to go, oh my God, she does look just like her mother. That doesn't mean anything. Like, like come on. You can't forget that movie tropes exist.
I know Devin tweeted at you, but she comes on. As soon as she comes on, he whispers in my ear, "Cologne," and I got upset because I was like, "Well, yeah, that's how this movie goes," and I'm like, "Man," but because there's that hide and seek scene, right?
Right.
And there's that moment where now here's where my brain is going. There's there's a moment where it's like that fast can't like runs by the camera moment and like
Right.
freaks people out. So I was like, oh my god, this child is a shapeshifter and she can shapeshift into dinosaurs.
Or
Oh my god.
this child has dino DNA.
Yeah, or something like that. That's where I'm at. That's where my brain is at. And I'm like, so like in a sense, yeah, she's still a clone, but I'm thinking dinosaur clone. And then Devin whispers in my head, in my ear, clone, and I'm like, well, I'm wrong. That's clearly right. Because
Oh.
that's where this movie is definitely going.
And the thing
because
is, that's
why
such
wouldn't it?
that's such a unused, untapped subplot to this movie. Like, so it bookends with Ian Malcolm at the hearing, talking about how they've messed with genetics and they brought these things back, and what does that mean for like human being genetics? Like he very very quickly throws a line off, or someone does somewhere in that movie throws
does,
off a line
yeah,
about it,
something,
and
yeah.
then it's like, oh, and this little girl's a clone. It means nothing to anything going on in this movie.
And like,
The fact that she is a clone does not mean anything.
I mean, I guess it
Because
means that there's a potential. There,
I mean,
like,
it means
if we
there's
can make dinosaurs,
it means
of
that
course we
you're
can make clones.
yeah, it means like, oh, I guess in Jurassic World 3 there will be clones to deal with, maybe? Like that doesn't even
Oh
I don't
my
even know why that's a
God.
problem. Right. Like what does that even mean? That doesn't mean it has nothing to do with that why they're selling the dinosaurs. It has nothing to do with like it has nothing to do with like any sort of major reveal for any characters. It's just like, oh, we needed an excuse for James Cromwell to have a granddaughter, and because it's Jurassic World, we decided it was a clone instead of just a granddaughter.
It will be. I want so badly for the next one to be about humanoid dinosaurs because nightmare fuel.
Well, what's really interesting,
Like,
so
yeah.
here's this weird through line that does go from Jurassic Park to Fallen Kingdom. The one through line that seems to exist through all of them is the raptors are getting smarter every movie.
Yeah.
It's like the whole thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic Park 3, for the 99% of the world population that didn't see that movie, is all about they go back to the island from Lost World. Not even the one from Jurassic Park, but Sam Neill goes back to the island from Lost World because William H. Macy and Tia Leone's son was like paragliding out there and landed on the island when he wasn't supposed to, and now he's trapped on an island with dinosaurs.
Oh.
And so they tricked Sam Neill to come to the island. The thing is, like, they make a joke out of the fact that they tricked Sam Neill because they thought he'd been there before, and they were like, no, I was at Jurassic Park on the other island. This is a different island. And some guy just goes, wait, we've got two islands with dinosaurs in this place? What are we, crazy?
Amazing.
Yeah, because the whole story to Lost World is that there was a second island that they used as like a hatchery, basically,
Yeah.
as like a natural habitat hatchery.
Yeah.
So they go back. So they think that they're taking Sam Neill back to an island he's been to and he's never been there before. That's great. Jurassic Park 3 is a very weird comedy of a
so
movie.
good.
And then of course while they're there, they also learned that like the dinosaurs that have been living there now completely unmolested by man are evolving, and there's new species, and of course there's smarter raptors on this island. And so then you get to Jurassic World, and he's trained Blue because Blue is significantly smarter than any raptor.
Mhm.
And now we've created an even smarter one with the Indominus DNA and all this stuff. Oh my God, that's like a weird through line to go with these. They're the Jason of this franchise.
I love that. And I'm gonna say it again. The fact that I love Blue because she is just. I like that she's kind of a hero in a sense too, but at the end of the day, she's still a fucking dinosaur.
She's also
Like,
like bratty. She's also like, yeah,
yeah,
I'm not sorry, Chris
yeah,
Pratt. I'm not staying with you.
yeah.
You left me on that island, and I'm mad at you.
Exactly. Like it's just that scene where he's like, I'm gonna act weak now. And the one attacks him, and
Mm.
then he acts weak in front of Blue, and she go, oh, I'm gonna cry just thinking of it, and she just like walks up to him and like starts to condole. It's like, oh my god, I don't want you to do anything bad, but you're still a dinosaur, and it's like it wouldn't. It's not necessarily your fault. Like that's in your blood. Like
You're
we're
just a
messing
very
with
smart. You're a very smart dumb animal, is what you are.
like we're messing with your life and stuff because that's what we do. I don't want her to get hurt,
Oh
but
man,
she's
I
gonna.
yeah. Oh
I'm gonna
god.
cry.
But it's okay because now we apparently just live in a world with dinosaurs, where dinosaurs yell at lions or yell at neighborhoods or yell at.
Hey,
I just love that last scene is just here's a series of dinosaurs yelling at things,
dude, is it
just in case you didn't get the point, but they're out there.
the best part about that whole thing is what's it, Ian being like,
Yeah,
"Welcome to Jurassic World," and
which was
I'm like,
oh my
"Fuck
god,
you, movie!
they're so bad at final lines.
Shut
They're
up!"
so bad at them, especially because they put that in every trailer.
Exactly. Oh my god! And I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, of course, like of course that was gonna happen. But what the hell?
Oh man.
Jeez. Yeah, ridiculous.
Well, let's see. I mean, have you done anything? What else have you done this week? That's
So
all been me. This has all been me.
yeah,
So,
that's fine though because we did similar things. We both saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we've both now have seen Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, so it makes sense. And we had the Purge. It's fine. It's okay, Zach, that it was all you. I do have something. I kind of want to. I mean, my stuff can wait. My stuff is forever. It's continuing. Except for one thing, but whatever. It doesn't have to come up today. But I wanted to talk about the Zia line
mm,
that got cut.
yes. Now that we've both seen
Because
that,
now that we've
and
both seen it,
yes,
and I like wanted to talk about it for so long, but you hadn't seen the movie.
right.
Have you read anything about
Yes, yeah. I
so
know the
you know
line.
the
I know.
line?
Yeah, I know the line. I know all about it. I
Yes.
actually very much agree with Siegen and Devin's analysis that it was so bad it did not deserve to be in that movie.
Exactly.
Um, I
It's
mean, and
just
I also do believe in the idea that like we need. I mean, if we need that clunky stepping stone to get things in, that's fine. That line was not the clunky stepping
no,
stone we
no.
needed. I'm
And
fine with that.
they explained for anyone who does not know, um it's possible that you don't know. Zia's character, quote unquote, cuz she still can be, was supposed to be gay. And they had a
And quite
line.
frankly, the high-waisted jeans and that T-shirt, she was gay. But
Yes, exactly. But here's the thing. It does not add or take away from her character. She's still that a badass in my eyes. She's still a badass who is fucking smart and can hold her own. I mean, and does not give a shit about anything because that scene where the military guys shoot Chris Pratt to make
oh
him
yeah,
go
and she just
limp,
takes the
and
freaking
she
gun.
just takes the gun. She does not know this guy, and yet she's still like, no, I'm gonna protect him because what the hell is wrong with you? Like
Yeah,
she's so good, and her being gay does not. It doesn't. It would matter because I do think that there needs to be representation in movies, and it hasn't been. Like there hasn't been a really good one
right.
lately.
And especially when you look at at Jurassic World and then Fallen Kingdom, and you look at just how ham-fisted the relationship
Yeah,
between
yeah,
between the Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt are. Can you tell I just didn't bother learning their names? I think I figured out his name was Owen at like
Owen. It's
20
yeah.
minutes left of the movie.
Uh,
But like how ham-fisted that is, there's a part of me that's like, if you're gonna ham-fist that in, go ahead and ham-fist in that she's gay,
yes.
or take out both because this movie doesn't need a romance
No.
angle.
It's dinosaurs. Dinosaurs in action. I don't need to see people falling in love or anything like that. But so yeah. And the
So
line is if it was in the movie, it would be straight up pandering because they were
it
like,
would.
we need to try and put some gay representation in this film.
But we're
that's
going
not the
to
way
do
you're
it.
gonna do it.
No, and so if anybody that doesn't know the line, the paraphrase line basically is that at some point she was going to look Chris Pratt up and down and go, "I'm gay, but you're attractive," so I'd hit
Exactly.
that basically.
Yeah.
And as Devin eloquently put this, I even shouted him out on Twitter for this. I think it's great that he came up with this analysis of it to take her sexuality and be like, hey, look, we have a lesbian character, but it's entirely given through a line based on a heterosexual reading of Chris Pratt is not like that's beyond clunky. That's not even a clunky way to do that. That's not even like she spent half the movie making weird references to a vague girlfriend in Canada clunky. Like
Yeah.
like oh man.
And the scene where it would have happened is not the place for it. It makes
Do we know where that would have happened?
So
I actually didn't read that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So you when Zia and Owen go off and what?
We got crackly again, but that might have been me.
Oh no.
Nope, we're good.
Okay.
Keep
Cool.
going.
When Zia and Owen go off with the mercenaries, is what she calls them. It was supposed to happen while they're in the back of that van.
Oh,
supposedly.
God.
Yeah. Yep.
That super romantic scene where nothing else important is happening.
Where she and Owen were supposed to like go and find Blue. That's when it was supposed to happen. That is not no. Not the place for it. And it would have been you mentioned that like the vague girlfriend in Canada scene. That would have been better.
She could have even said, like, in the scene where you're introducing them, where she's got the line about being a paleo vet but never seen a dinosaur, which I'm actually gonna
have this conversation again.
No, we're gonna have this conversation because I figured out a way to make that work in my head as a
thank
headcanon.
God.
So I'm gonna tell you that in a second. But that's the scene where you have it, where her and Franklin, where you're introducing her and Franklin, and she's making fun of him for just being the guy that puts plugs in things. And like when they say, like when at some point in that scene where or somewhere, Bryce Dallas Howard says, "Hey, we're gonna go to the island." At some point, like just have her say, "Oh God, my girlfriend's gonna be pissed," or something.
That is exactly. That's what I
line.
said. That's what I said. I was like, "Here's how you write that in." I don't know. Give me a girl's name.
Oh God, I've forgotten every woman's name in existence.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna go with
Teresa.
Teresa. Cool.
There we go.
All right. Here's how it happens. They're running. They're hiding from a dinosaur. Zia just goes, God damn it, Teresa's going to kill me. You have Franklin go, who is Teresa? And then you have Sam go, she's my fiance. She would be pissed if I died today. You know how much time she's worked on planning our wedding? Like that's how you integrate it. Something
you had 8 lines of Franklin going, I hope I don't see a T-Rex.
Exactly.
You couldn't put one line in there.
Exactly. And like I think back to Deadpool 2, right? Negasonic Teenage Warhead, right? Revealing that she was gay was perfect. It was done perfectly, and it was just normal, which is what is needed in this world.
Right.
You know, she just shows up, she has a girlfriend. There we go. And nothing like there's a joke that's made, but it's not Wade even makes a thing of, it's not because you're gay, it's just I can't believe someone is dating you. Pretty much. So it's like that's the way you just need to it's normal.
And honestly,
it's a normal
Zia,
thing.
And with
so
Zia,
make
that
it a
type of
normal
thing. And with Zia, that same type of joke works because she's such kind of like she's kind of a jerk through most of that movie. For Franklin to be like, someone is engaged to you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh,
It I feel like that kind of line shows that you don't maybe you don't feel that this is a normal being gay
you're
is
in
a
your
normal thing
you're
in the
in your own
world.
mindset. In your own mindset. You're still normalizing it to yourself, let alone
Exactly.
other people. Yeah,
You're still bringing in that heterosexual side of it because you're not comfortable with how the
right,
world works. And
right.
that's upsetting.
Now, I'm going to tell you how the world of Jurassic World worked and how her whole paleo vet thing works in my head, because I think I
I'm
figured
so
out how to make
happy
this work. This is
cuz
the type of obsessive thinking I do, where I was like, no, I'm going to make this head canon work if it kills me. So
I want it to work.
you would say, I mean, let's take a look here. How old did you say Zia is? 28, 27? I'm in there.
Yeah,
Birth.
around there,
So
like
you got to figure.
26.
Okay, so you got to figure in Jurassic World, which was 2015. They
Mhm.
even say it in the movie. 25-ish, 24-ish,
Yeah.
somewhere in that age.
Yeah.
Right about the age that someone is getting a PhD if they're kind of going whole hog on it and getting
Mhm.
their thing. Right about the time
I
that you would be graduating with a PhD of some kind or in the middle of getting one, in the process of getting a PhD. So she is in the program to get a paleo vet PhD. Say she's supposed to go to Jurassic World to do some sort of practical use with that. And then Jurassic World happens.
Yep.
And so it cuts off her ability to actually go in, because obviously no one is going to the island. So it cuts off her ability to actually go and see an actual dinosaur and finish this. And so her PhD largely gets finished on theoretical work or papers and videos or something.
Mhm.
So it's
Thank
fine
you.
that she hasn't seen a dinosaur because, again, as Devin and Sejan brought up, like, why, like, they exist in a world with dinosaurs, how had she not seen it? Well, they're all cordoned off on an island.
True.
I can live
Yes.
with the idea that she has never seen a dinosaur. What I wish had happened was that later on when she's doing the surgery, they had, again, one line where someone was like, are you good with this? And she's like, well, I saw it on a video once.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that made me most mad about the paleo vet I've never seen a dinosaur line is that it doesn't,
It's not explained. It comes
it's
out
not
of
even that,
nowhere.
not even that. It doesn't mean anything. It didn't need to be in there. The only
Eh,
scene where that seems to have any weight to it is when they first show up to the island and they see the brontosaurus in the park and she freaks out. But after that, she might as well have been working with next to dinosaurs her whole life for how comfortable she is with the whole situation.
yeah, that's true. That
Like, that was my thing, was that, like, if you're gonna do that, lean into it and make it so that she's nervous, like, especially with Blue, because she's so important to Owen.
exactly.
But, like, the idea that they had that line, they followed it up with 1 2 second sequence with the brontosaurus, and then it never mattered again. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing that made me most mad about it. But I can, in my head, be like, okay, yeah, so Jurassic
It
World
made
happened and
sense.
she couldn't do the practical side of her PhD. I get that. I just wish they had said it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no, totally.
like, just
I think
say the
you
thing.
I think you just summed up Lost World Fallen Kingdom in that all you guys needed were certain lines to make your movie better, and
It's
they
the
were
fifth
either
storyline problem that we
yeah,
talked about with Last Jedi.
yeah,
There's a lot of stuff that they do, and they kind of expect you to roll with it without
exactly.
really any sort of
Like
emotional follow up.
Last Jedi and Fallen Kingdom, I hate it, and I maybe this is like what movies are trying to do now, but it's like even Suicide Squad. Okay, bringing up Suicide Squad, which I love. But anyways, it
Oh, we're gonna have to talk
it
about that
makes
someday.
yeah, oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm
Talk about a
excited for
movie.
that
Talk about a movie
conversation.
that looks like you're just watching something on USA.
Hey, I love it. We're not having this conversation now.
That's definitely
That's
next
next
week.
week. That's definitely next week. So stay tuned. Anyways, it's that these movies clearly the deleted scenes are where the things that I want to see and what it sounds like you want to see are living, but we can't see those unless we buy the DVD or wait for someone to rip it and put it onto
Yeah,
YouTube. And it's like,
some sort of unedited cut or unrated cut or
exactly.
something like that. Yeah.
Because there are, people bring up the Joker scenes from Suicide Squad that should have been in the movie and then were cut. I just feel like Fallen Kingdom had these really nice, like, story explaining elements,
Yeah, and when they were cutting it down for
and when they were
time, they
cutting
were
it
like,
down,
yeah,
they were like, "What people? People will get it.
Yeah, and I think it's especially
But it won't be good.
it's a weird version of, especially when you're talking about franchises that are based on nostalgia at this point, like Fallen Kingdom especially, and just like Jurassic World, as those two movies are so based on the idea that you love Jurassic Park so much that that's like what they're riding on. And so what they're doing is they're like focusing on the stuff that for 30 years everybody kind of talked about with Jurassic Park, but they forgot what the actual movie was. So like the romance angle is because Sam Neill and Laura Dern have this great chemistry in Jurassic Park, and you can tell that they're probably going to go off and be together. That is not a storyline in Jurassic Park.
Yep.
They're not actually like falling all over each other and waiting to kiss each other and all this other stuff. They just have good chemistry. It's the X-Files syndrome Moonlighting was actually Will They Won't They, but X-Files like going into like TV crime drama and like To Bones and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, there was great chemistry between David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, and we loved seeing them almost get together toward the end. And so when the next shows came along, it was, hey, let's have a will they, won't they angle, and will they get together or not, even though that was not the actual thing that people were excited about.
Yeah, exactly.
They were just excited to have two people with good chemistry working together. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
and I think a lot of people remember the T-Rex scene from Jurassic Park, and so they were like, hey, let's make everything about like the dinosaur sneaking up and attacking. Like every scene is the dinosaur sneaking up and attacking now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
We're going to keep fixing movies if it kills us.
Seriously. We could start a whole nother podcast of just that.
That would get so negative at some point.
I know.
The only other movie I ever really want to fix is Return of the Jedi, and that's only because I want to get rid of the damn Ewoks.
I think a lot of people want to get rid of the Ewoks.
In a heartbeat, I would replace the Ewoks with like a exiled tribe of Wookiees, and then the rest of the movie doesn't have to change, and it would be perfect.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not even. Wow. We really do fix movies here on the Say Report Jr.
Okay, I think that's going to do it for this week, and then we'll get into some more next week. I know you've got some stuff you're excited to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And now apparently we have to fight about Suicide Squad.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait, Zach. Cannot wait. Because I am prepared for that one.
You can find Say Report Jr. on YouTube now. Just search Say Report Jr. and hopefully the channel comes up in the search. At least one of our videos will. It's hard to tell. YouTube's whole algorithm is screwed. But we're there. Subscribe. You get all of our episodes.
Like
we're
and subscribe.
Smash that like button. Subscribe.
Jesus.
We're up to the first part of our E3 coverage is up there. I'm currently staring at our 225,000 frame render of the second part to that, which means nothing if you don't know anything about making a video, but still, it's a 2-hour video. It's taking some time, but that should be up tonight. And then I fell behind, but by the end of the week, we should be up. We should be caught up because the next 3 episodes after that are, shorter. So,
very true.
Other than that, you can also find us on Twitter at sayreportjr. You can find us individually. I am at Zerwisky.
Yep, and I am at Dale's Brain. And look forward for next week where we will maybe be fighting over Suicide Squad.
Oh, it's going to be like a DC-centric episode next week, I think. Because yeah.
I'm excited
there we go.
Because I'm
the
not.
Theme episode.
I'm really excited because I'm not even that big of a DC fan, but when I am, oh, am I? It's good.
So there's your teaser for next week, everybody. And with that, I think we'll just throw it to Liz, unless there's anything else. No, that's good. Let's throw it to Liz.
All right.
Why, did you have something else?
No.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for listening to The Say Report with your hosts Dale Decker and Zach Sarowick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.